I'm Gary Stockton. Daniel's my son. We've been here about 20 years in Lancaster County, right here. I've been in the bee business about 33, 34 years. Just only part-time. I started out with just a few hives. You know, ever since the mites have come on to the bee scene, maybe 12 or 15 years ago, it's been a real struggle because with the bee mites have come viruses. So there's always, and then the cure, it's like the mites carry the viruses, and there's so many different kinds of viruses. There might be 15 or 18 different kinds of viruses. So the cure for all of those things is to get the mites down, and it's so hard because to control those, so far they've had pretty much what they call hard chemicals, and they've tried soft chemicals or natural methods, and they don't often work. So, and then some of the very first things that would work for 1 or 2 years did fine, but then the third year it didn't work. So all the beekeepers, almost everybody that I know, has had this constant struggle to find what works and to keep it on, but not so much that it's going to hurt the bees, because some of these chemicals end up affecting how the queens live and how the worker bees survive. And if the chemicals get into the wax, then you have to like be recycling your combs. So there's been all that. Well, last year I was just losing bees, like just dying. They just weren't surviving. And it was because of those mites and those viruses that came with the mites. And I treated them with a thing that was a formic acid pad. Remember the Mitaway 2, is that what it was?
Yeah.
And that saved my bees from the rest of them dying. We have to treat them or else we don't have bees. And if we use hard chemicals, then the chemicals are affecting the bees. The trade-off there is you have like a little narrow window when you can treat them, and you have to be careful with it, and also you have to like work that wax back out of your hive as soon as you can, because it gets implanted in the wax and it stays there, and then that hurts the queens. But the soft chemicals like the formic acid, which is a naturally occurring organic acid, and thymol doesn't have that same effect on the bees, but it's not as effective too. So they might have a 70% or a 75% effect of killing the bee mites, whereas the hard chemicals might have a 95 or a 98% effect on the bee mites. I guess the trade-off is you have to monitor the mite levels in your hives and try and keep the hard chemicals out and still keep your hives healthy and alive. And that's what we do. One thing is bees are so necessary to our livelihood. About every third bite you take is from pollinated insects, they say. Like a third of your food source is from pollinated insects, which is mostly from honeybees. I mean, unless you know about bees, you might not even think about bees being important. So when people can hear about honeybees and they hear a little bit about it, then it's sort of different than just like an engine modification or something like that. It's just different. It's a little insect, a little live thing that bears on life. The most fascinating thing about bees is just that they're little creatures that can even be. I mean, when you really look at what bees do and all the things that they do, I see, there's a verse in the Bible that says the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. And when I see bees, how they are with all their little perfect, intricate doings, I am just drawn that God made these. God made these little things. I can't believe this. You could take away any little thing, and those bees would not be. And you could take away like any behavior. All of it has to be there in order for them to survive. I just can't imagine having something develop like bees. Because even today, if there's one little thing that happens to a bee, the whole thing just dies. So that's the thing that makes me excited somewhat, is that I'm seeing in these honeybees just something that's splendid and wonderful and intriguing, and it shows me that God is real and he made them. That's the way I look at them.
Sugar, oh honey, you are my candy girl. got me wanting.